So, Justin, let me follow up on that question. So one version of the story would be, look, policy analysts are going to keep doing what they've always done. They do kind of extended, thoughtful analysis of a policy problem, but they've got to put more emphasis on translation, like getting the message out to the audiences they care about. The other version of the story would be, no, actually, we're in a time of change. The media is changing. The political structures are changing. Pace is intensifying, power is dispersing, and that actually what's happening is sort of the collapse of analysis. That there is no market for the kind of deep, thoughtful analysis. And I'm wondering, which way would you tend to go, just based on your observation, both as a journalist and a scholar?
It's actually a bit of both. So I don't think they're mutually exclusive. So it's the first is the most, sorry, the latter is the most true. So we are in a period where there's less and less of a readership, I think, for this. Well, it's not that there's less of a readership. It's that decisions are being made with, I think, less of a concern and less respect for the credible and accountable sources of information than we used to have before. So there's less accountability, and we are relying on less credible sources of information before we make big decisions. The public is receiving information from less savory places. We are in a post-truth world, post-fact world, and as Tom Nichols observed in his so-called and so titled book, we are subject to the death of expertise. This is a very anti-intellectual moment in time right now. And unfortunately, it's been heavily politicized by the politics of the United States and more broadly by populism in the transatlantic space as well. And so we are all in a fight for airspace and for written space, for eyeballs and ears. And so if we don't communicate in ways that are compelling, if we don't communicate on the media platforms where the eyeballs and ears are focusing, then we're not actually going to be heard. And so it's a really big problem. Now, that said, that doesn't mean that there isn't a market for deep analysis. All this means is that you're never going to get to the point of getting deep analysis read until we actually get read on those platforms first. What I emphasize to academic researchers who are very dubious of the media, who they think can be, distrustful, who they're distrustful of, or they just, just think are too shallow. What I always emphasize is that the media is an entry point. It is not the destination. The media is an invitation. So Twitter is not your whole analysis. That tweet is not everything. You're not putting all your guts onto your Twitter account. Your press release does not have all of your details in it. Your broadcast interview is not comprehensive. It is an invitation to kind of pull the thread to learn more, right? Because if someone likes what they hear, it's like clickbait, basically. You're going to double click on it to learn more. Say, okay, well, what else can I get from this? Okay, oh, there's a deeper analysis here. Oh, well, I'll read more if the next layer of information is just as compellingly written and communicated. So we have to make each layer of information compellingly interesting. And eventually, those who really do care about the subject matter will reach your analysis. But it is not really a sustainable strategy for experts to expect that people are just going to skip straight to a 150-page memo.